Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on another episode where we're just minding everyone's business. I'm Crystal, the founder of Book of Bijou, and today we have Tricia ACCAOUI from Vivian Grace.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course, so she has the most gorgeous collection. You can shop it at shopviviangrace.com. So let's just jump right into it, Tricia. Why don't you tell us about yourself and your background, how you got started with your business?
Hi, my name is Tricia Cowie, and I am the CEO and creative director of Vivian Grace Jewelry, and we are located in Fort Worth, Texas. I am the mom of two little babies. The oldest is Vivian Grace, and my line and collection are named after her. We're a small business, but we're getting a lot bigger, and I'm super excited to meet all of you and talk a little bit to you, Crystal. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So you already told us who Vivian Grace is, your daughter. She just turned 3, right? Or she's almost turning 3.
Yeah, she's turning 3 in April. I can't believe it
Uh-huh.
went by so fast.
And how old is your littlest?
He's 9 months, so he's just starting to pull up and want to do everything Vivian does.
We're kind of parallel with our children timelines. So my oldest is turning 3 next week, which is crazy, and my youngest, she had just turned a year in December. But tell me about that, about being a mom and starting your own business. So when you started, how long have you been in business?
About as long as Vivian's been alive, I've been working on Vivian Grace. We started in 2018, kind of just working on the designs and stuff. But honestly, I spent 10 years in corporate America and doing finance and working on a computer. I've always been a working girl. And I thought, once I had a baby, I'd want to go back to work and kind of keep it going, everything I'd started. But once I had her, everything changed for me. And I just really wanted to stay home and spend time with her and not miss any of her little years. And
Mhm.
so I was thankful that my husband supported me in doing that. But once I started staying home, I'm always thinking about stuff. I've always loved jewelry and had this dream in the back of my mind of starting a jewelry line. So I just started designing a little bit and finding manufacturers and researching a lot, about what it takes to run a business, what it takes to kind of launch something. So yeah, that's the story.
So how was that with having a little one at home? Was that hard for you to manage, juggling that time?
Um, I started slow, kind
Mhm.
of during that time when I had time working on some stuff, and I guess I didn't put any pressure on myself to really have launch dates or
Uh-huh.
you know deadlines and stuff, and I kind of just went at my own pace, and that for me worked really well.
Yeah, that's good. I was able to stay home for the first year with my daughter too, which was really nice. So I'm glad you were able to enjoy that time and really cherish it because not a lot of people get to do that.
It's a
Um,
privilege. It really.
yeah, definitely. So how long do you think it was until you really started working on this like full time?
I mean, in really once we launched on Etsy in 2019, I had, my inventory, and I actually started my website at the same time, just building it in the back end. Um, but it was probably 9 months of research and testing and figuring out what we were going to make, what our line was going to be about, what we wanted to focus on. Um, and I kind of taught myself all this, how to do a website, all the things like, so that took a long time as well on the front end. But yeah, probably 9 months to a year before I was actually going on Etsy. And then, once you first set up shop, you're like, no one, what if no one buys something? Like,
Right.
I'm so nervous. And then, people would buy stuff and they'd really like it and it'd be really encouraging. And then we'd start making more and more stuff. And I'm just like, hey, it's kind of working. This is a business. Like, started out as just an idea, but now it's actually a business, which is cool.
Mhm. Did you do a lot of marketing?
I didn't. I really just wanted to make really pretty jewelry, and I didn't really know what I was doing on the business development or marketing in per se. So it was pretty organic at first. I started an Instagram account, but again, didn't really know what I was doing there. It's all kind of trial and error, but
Right.
it's getting a lot better.
Yeah. And then maybe like a year later, you had your second child.
Yeah. So Vincent was born also in April of last year of 2020. So he was a COVID baby.
How was that? Oh my God, tell me all about that.
Yeah. So honestly, it, I thought it was great because at the hospital, you can only have one person, which for me was my husband, but everyone else can also only have one person too. So a lot of the chaos on the maternity floor usually is like all the visitors are running in and out, but we didn't have any of that. It was just really quiet and peaceful and relaxing. So the experience was good. And, when you have a newborn, you stay at home a lot anyway. So it really, our lives didn't change that much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to go back to you saying that you enjoyed having the COVID baby because with my second one, I also like didn't want any visitors. I didn't want anyone around me in the hospital. Like
Yeah,
just want time to myself, just peace and quiet.
let it be zen and let's just do this like in a chill way if we can.
Right. Like people were asking me if they could come visit, and I'm like, maybe in like a week or two.
I had the COVID excuse. Oh, COVID, it's gonna be a
Right.
minute. No, yeah.
Lucky you.
Yeah, just give me a minute on
Yeah. But okay, so did you have to take like a break from your business at all? Did it like suffer at all or?
that. I wish I could say that I did. I probably should have. I like pretty much right until about a week before he was born, we are just going full, full steam ahead. And then kind of a week up to it, I was like, okay, I feel like he's going to be born pretty soon. So I just like paused everything, and then I picked it back up like a week after he was born, and I had
Really?
yeah, I wasn't doing a lot with like inventory and stuff. It was mostly just filling orders, but honestly, like I could spend an hour or two a day doing that and not really do anything else, and that was fine because I was pretty much still on Etsy back in April. Yeah.
Mhm. And then when did you launch your full actual website?
So it had been running, but we truly launched it in July of 2020. And at that time, we started selling on Instagram as well through my website platform. So really ramped up the Instagram, got a lot better pictures, and started really kind of working the machine. And it was exciting. That was also a little bit scary because with
Mhm.
Etsy, you have your, people searching for you can find, or people searching for, jewelry in my case, like
Right.
I can find it easily. So I had to go through and, make sure and try to figure out how I could get my website to function like that on search engines as well, which is really, it's hard if you haven't
Yeah.
done that before.
What was the hardest part of your business so far in these past couple of years?
I think the hardest part is just getting in front of people that you think will like it. So it's honestly the hardest part is just because once people find me and they find my jewelry, they really love it. But it's just figuring out how to get them to find me more easily. And
Uh-huh.
I think in the future we'll spend more money on marketing and things like that to help. But it's going really well right now.
So, what about your financial background? Has that helped you a lot with starting your business? I know for a lot of people, well, at least for me, for sure, that's something that kind of stresses me out. It's always in the back of my mind because it's not something that I have a background in. And it's not something that's like, if you make a mistake, it's fine, you move past it. It's like, if you make a mistake, you could get in trouble with like taxes and all that.
Right. I think my financial background and working in investments helped a lot. Actually, one thing I didn't mention is whenever I left my former investment job to become a stay-at-home mom, um, one of my friends was like, "Oh, hey, well, I'm buying into this other business. Can you be the finance director for it?" And it was like it's like a small business. So I did that for a couple months while I was working on the Vivian Grace stuff too, and it really helped me see everything from a financial perspective that goes into running a small business and the bookkeeping and the QuickBooks and the payroll and everything. Like I was doing all of that. And so that honestly helped me a lot get more confident in kind of understanding what goes into, with the buying and the purchasing and all that stuff, like what goes into a small business. So that that helped a lot. But yes, to answer your question, my background really did help me to feel more confident as I was launching a small business and not, you know, be scared about stuff that a lot of new business owners launching are probably scared about.
Do you have any quick tips for people in
Yes, yes.
starting
Oh,
finances?
I love, I love, I love giving unsolicited advice. No, this is solicited. So when you're thinking about starting a business, uh, a lot of people will tell you, oh, well, you have to spend this much on marketing. You have to spend this much on your website. You have to spend this much on your inventory. You have to have these many products available for people to buy before you can launch. And that's just not true. Don't stress yourself out about, borrowing a lot of money or spending a lot of money. Like, honestly, you can figure out how to do anything you want um, on pretty much, a really small budget if you're resourceful. So my biggest advice is don't borrow money if you can help it. Just grow as you go and use the money from your sales to fund, more purchasing and things like that. So I would say try not to borrow money if you can help it.
Smart tip. Good life advice, even if you're not starting a business. Does it ever get overwhelming with you with the two little ones? Because this is a tough age. This is when they're like the most needy. They can't
Right.
really like sit and entertain themselves for long periods of time. They need you. They need you around.
One reason that I love being a business owner and the reason that I'm kind of doing it this style and being able to start out of my home and do a lot of this out of my home at first is really important to me is because I just want to be with them all day. And so I definitely have help. I have, nannies that come and help me and assistants that help me with my orders. So we really time block and try to make the most of our time together. So when I have help with the kids during the day, which is every day at least for 3 or 4 hours, a time block. Okay, I'm going to respond to customer emails, or I'm going to do social media, or I'm going to work on filling my orders. I'm going to do maybe inventory for a whole day one day, or I'm going to work on designing, or I'm going to it, really just time blocking is super important for me when it comes to managing my business, so that I only am truly working and away from the kids for as limited amount of time as possible.
Right. So you have like a whole team working for you now, pretty much.
Yeah, we have a lot of, not a lot of people, but we have definitely help, and it's kind of just as each step of the way, as it's gotten to be a little too much, you know, okay, I'm going to take on, or I'm going to learn how to delegate more, which is another thing that's pretty hard, especially I think for small business owners.
Yeah, and I mean, you put your heart into your business, so you want everything to be perfect. I totally understand that. You want to make sure everything is just right, just the way that you would do it. I think that would definitely be hard for me when it comes time to expand. Was it hard for you finding the right people to come onto your team? I mean, especially since this brand is named after your daughter. So they are a representation of her in extent.
Right. No, honestly, it's just that we have a little girl gang, and you know, it's people that I've known, or that are doing, moved to doing something different, or that, have been recommended to me through friends, like really good people, kind people, people that care about, doing the right things. And I'm like, I can train you to do, whatever you want to do. Like, we'll figure it out. But I'm super lucky and blessed to have, you know, all of my assistants there, everything.
Yeah. Do you find that it's getting easier to kind of let go of a little bit more power every time you bring on someone new?
Um, yes, I think, well, as we get more experience together, it's easier to trust that things are going to be done the right way, and not feel that, small business owner need to just hover over everyone's shoulder and make sure like everything's being done the way I would do it.
Uh-huh.
Just got to spend time training people.
Uh-huh. Okay, so let's get to the actual collection. Tell us about like your design process, the inspiration behind your collections.
Yeah, so I mean, I like what I like. I have basically two collections. I have my Moonstone collection, And then right now I have my gold essentials collection, which is, just super cute everyday wear pieces. Um, 18 karat gold over. This is some of the chunkier stuff is stainless steel, which is really good and durable. But a lot of it is 18 karat gold over sterling silver, which is great for rings, hypoallergenic, nickel and lead free. But really, I just want to look cool. I want to feel like I'm like in New York City walking around, but I can just be at my house wearing cute jewelry. But I love the gold essentials collection. I think it's great. Can be layered and stacked and dressed up or down. And it's just one of my absolute favorites. And then I love moonstones. If you don't know what a moonstone is, it's like an iridescent blue purple stone. And it's just, it looks fancy. It looks, super nice.
Yeah,
And
they're
we love
beautiful.
that. But for my design process, basically, I just think of something and I draw it out kind of how I want it. And then I work with my manufacturer and they mock it up in their CAD or computer system and then 3D print a mold. And we'll kind of talk about the specifics and then we'll go back and forth a lot and make our prototypes and then go back with changes and before we actually put it into production. And then maybe, after the first round, we'll do it in more colors or we'll do it in different, widths or lengths. But that's it's really time consuming because well, as you can imagine, it's a lot. But I think my biggest strength is I like stuff that looks really expensive, and so everything that I make, it looks beautiful, it looks nice, it doesn't look cheap at all, or we're not going to sell it. It's going to last, it's going to be beautiful, and yeah.
So we chatted a little bit earlier and you mentioned that one of your biggest issues that you struggle with is you design a lot and it's hard for you to like narrow it down, right? So how do you end up deciding like what makes the cut?
Well, we design a lot. What we actually put into production, what makes the cut is what sells the best. And that's kind of, I let the customers decide. If
Okay.
if I have too many styles, we're going to put them out there and then the customers tell us basically through sales what's a hit and what's not. And we'll make more of what's a hit or kind of continue on that path and pare down maybe what was, not the best or the biggest hit. So yeah, we let our customers tell us.
Okay, so most of them make it to the line and then they make the final decision.
Mhm. Yeah, well, if it doesn't, I have a lot of stuff that doesn't. Some stuff will be, we'll make it and I'll get it, and it's just here in our in our office because I'm not going to sell it because I'm not super happy with it. So it all comes down like I always know that I like the style, but if the quality isn't just right, like I won't put it in. That's what won't make the collections.
How long is your time frame usually, like from conception of the design to the actual final product?
4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Hmm.
And your collection has been featured in a couple of magazines, right?
Yeah.
Tell us
Yes.
about that.
So Conde Nast, which is basically it's the parent company for GQ, Vogue, Cosmopolitan, like all the big ones. They reached out to me. They emailed me. I think they found me on Instagram and were like, "Hey, do you want to do this like designer profile thing?" And I was like, "Yes, of course, yes." So they just emailed me. I don't really have any magical tip on that.
Really? I definitely thought you had some kind of like you did something in the behind the scenes to get that.
That's the thing, like I don't know anything about. I need to learn more about. Give me tips is publicity and all of that. It's like a mysterious world out there
Yeah.
on no clue. But yeah, so we've been featured in Conde Nast Traveler. We have 3 issues upcoming that we're going to be in the Traveler Treasure section, which is like cool jewelry pieces that they, feature for their travelers around the world. So that's cool.
That's really exciting. And
Mhm.
it's even more exciting to know that they just reached out to you. That means you're doing something right and your jewelry is fabulous.
Yeah, I was so excited. I have the issue still. I remember taking it to my parents' house and be like, "Look what I did," and they're like, "Oh."
Did
That's
you frame it? I would frame it.
I know I need to frame it. That's my next on my to-do list.
Okay, so what is your vision for the future of Vivian Grace?
Well, I want to keep creating beautiful jewelry, and we're in 5 stores right now. I want to be in a lot of stores. I want to be in Nordstrom. I want to be. I'm obviously going to have my own TV show. No, just kidding.
Obviously.
You know, I want to get a warehouse. I want to have people doing all my distribution. I want. There's a lot of things I want to do, but for me, it's really just one. You know, one step at a time.
Right. Would you want a storefront, or are you set with the whole
So
thing?
as a finance person, storefronts are not the most economical. They're very, very expensive to, you're leasing or you're buying, you have a lot of overhead, you have employees that run the storefront. There's a lot that goes into it. So I think for me right now, I'm very happy being direct to customer because I can have my prices be a lot lower because I don't have, all those like marketing expenses and all the overhead. I really can just offer customers truly, the best prices that we can. And I think having a storefront would take away from that. Now, on the flip side, storefronts, people want to go in person and see jewelry and try it on and know what size to get and feel it and touch it and see that it actually is really beautiful before they order it. So I'm talking myself into it as we speak, but I think I'd love to be in other people's storefronts. I've really enjoyed that. Will I have my own freestanding storefront? I'm not in 2021, but maybe. Who knows?
Was that easy to get into other stores?
Mm,
I don't really know much about this wholesaler process, so.
yeah. So honestly, it's been for me for people that I know, like people that I know, places that I go. They find out we do jewelry, they see our jewelry, they're like, oh, can we carry you in our store? And I'm like, yes, okay. And then their friends hear about it and they're like, oh, can we put you in our store? I'm like, yes. But have I called up retailers and asked to be in their store yet? No. Probably should. That sounds like a good idea too. But yeah, it's been pretty organic.
I love that everything's just been like happening so effortlessly and organic, like you said, for you.
Not effortlessly, but well, yeah, it's been pretty organic, which is tells me that we're doing something right. It's a good feeling.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to what are your top tips for just women starting a business other than the financial, don't borrow money from people. What other tips do you have?
A lot of women that are starting businesses, they're waiting for something to happen before they actually start. They're like, well, once I figure this out, or once I save up this amount of money, or once I have this mentor, or this business plan, or this XYZ, and on and on and on. I would just say, if you have a good idea, start somewhere. Like I see that you're doing, Crystal. I'm so inspired by you. I love what you're starting, and you're working on your product, and you're building up momentum, and you're starting somewhere. So girls, start somewhere. You can definitely do it. Use me as a resource, message me, message Crystal, will help you. But I think, definitely just start somewhere. And that's honestly my best tip is to start.
What do you suggest to do when they have, those fears overcoming them? Like, what if people don't buy my product? What if it's a flop? What did you do to overcome that?
Well, here's what I told myself. The worst thing that can happen is they don't buy my product, and I have cute jewelry to wear the rest of my life because it doesn't sell. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? That's why I say don't borrow money, because it takes the pressure of, what if it flops off of you? Have your budget, spend your budget, and be okay with losing that money if it flops. But it's not going to flop. You're going to do great. Just be consistent and make sure you're working all your angles. But it's really just, we're our own worst enemy, but you can be your own worst or your own best fan too. So you can do it. Like, just tell yourself you can do it and just start somewhere and keep going. And just, if you tell yourself you can't do something, you're probably right. Like, so
Right.
don't tell yourself that.
Yeah, your mindset is a huge factor in how successful you're going to be. For
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I have a daughter. My goal is I want her to see, we work every day. She's always like, doing orders, mommy. Can I help you do orders? Like, we're gonna we're gonna do it. And I want her to know she can do anything when she grows up. And she can. And that's how we talk to ourselves around here. Like, we're our biggest, our own biggest fans.
Yeah, that's so cute. When you said that, I was just imagining my daughter saying that to me. Like when I finally have my product, oh my God, I would love it if she would want to help me.
Oh, she will. And you're gonna be right there with us. We'll do it on a Zoom call.
Are you hoping that when she's much older, obviously, that she wants to work with you?
Um, no. I want her to, go to school and pursue whatever it is that she wants to do. And if she wants to do jewelry, that's great. If she wants to do, if she wants to go be a soccer player or something, that's great too. I just want her to do whatever she wants to do. But she loves jewelry from the time she was very, very young. She used to see a new piece, and she was like 1 year old. She was like,
Really? So cute.
the Opal Starburst necklace. I showed it to her. I was like, Vivian, what do you think of this piece? She goes, it's fireworks.
Oh my gosh. That's what you should have named it. You should have changed the
I
name.
know. I love that. Everything is like dreamy and magical, like just like her. And that's the feeling that we want everyone to get when they open up their jewelry is like, this is actually like really special, really beautiful. And yeah, she's definitely the driver of that. She gets so excited about jewelry, but yeah, she can be whatever she wants to be.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
My daughter wants to be a dancer and a doctor. I was like, you could
Yeah.
totally be a dancing doctor. Go for it.
Yes. Vivian wanted to be a nurse yesterday. I'm not sure where we're at today, but
Yeah, it changes every day.
it really does.
All right. Well, thank you, Tricia, so much for joining us today. I had so much fun chatting with you guys.
Yes.
Everyone at home, if you want to check out her jewelry, definitely do it. shopviviangrace.com. Follow both of us on Instagram, Book of Bijou, Vivian Grace Jewelry. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast, depending on where you're listening to this. But again, thank you so much, Tricia, for joining us.
Thank you, Crystal. This was so fun. Love it. Thank you guys.